In the distant wilds of Canada, a young scientist is carrying out a search. The field biologist is looking for the tiniest evidence of her quarry. Droppings, tracks, DNA traces. She is uniquely qualified. World champion mountain runner Gudrun Fluger
Oh my God.
spends months in dangerous territory, alone. Gudrun is unraveling secrets of one of the continent's most elusive animals. In the quest for the coast wolf, she will get as close as she can.
I feel the presence of the wolves. I don't see them right now, but I know that they're there.
Gudrun is embarking on a new mission to find a pack that has never had close contact with people before. No one knows how the wild wolves may react. It's a challenge for which she will risk her life. The country that Austrian-born Gudrun now calls home is one of the largest and least populated. Glaciers have gouged out deep valleys and fjords, but the rugged terrain doesn't deter the former extreme athlete.
Since I was a little girl, I was pretty used to be by myself. I did lots of skiing and running in the Austrian Alps, and that made me feel at home in the Canadian woods immediately. I got first attracted to wolves because they are the endurance athletes of the animal realm. As a field biologist, I help the scientists to gather information, to piece together more about wolf ecology and wolf genetics.
Wolves are predators, and once they roamed widely across Europe and North America. For millennia, they have been persecuted by mankind. But it is the rare coast wolves that are the focus of Gudrun's present investigation.
Those wolves along the Pacific Ocean, they hardly saw people, they have hardly bad experience with people. So I hope I can observe them, bring their behavior home to people so that they can get rid of their misconceptions about wolves.
The temperate rainforest is as rich in wildlife as the Amazon. But spotting wolves will not be easy. And to help her in her search, Gudrun has arranged to meet an old friend at the King Pacific Fishing Lodge. 3 years ago, she spent months along this coast, searching for wolves with local biologist Ian McAllister.
Ian is one of the most dedicated conservationists I've ever met. He's just so passionate about these forests.
Ian! Woo. Thank you. Great flight. Hi. Hi, Ian.
Ian has set up the Rainforest Conservation Society to help protect the coastal forests.
Choose a nice spot.
Ian aims to show Gudrun some of the problems now affecting the wolves' habitat. The ancient trees of the Great Bear Rainforest of British Columbia are under increasing pressure from commercial logging.
Some of those trees are 250 to 300 feet tall. The tallest trees in the temperate rainforest. And some of these cedar trees down here, they can be over 1,000 years old. Less than 10% of this whole Great Bear Rainforest area is currently protected. So everything that we're flying over is scheduled for logging at some time in the future.
Clear-cutting the trees removes shelter and food for the deer the wolves prey on.
You can see they're leaving little clumps of trees right in the middle, but those trees will just blow down.
Loose soil can choke the salmon streams now, and clear-cutting has other ill effects.
We've taken out so many trees that the sun heats up the land much quicker, so the water's much warmer. It really affects the salmon, because the salmon need cool water and clear water in order to spawn. That's one of the negative impacts of large-scale clear-cutting.
Each autumn, 20% of the world's wild salmon return here to their home rivers. As the sockeye, chum, and other salmon breed and die, they provide food for many. Autumn is the time of year when bears, wolves, and other creatures can fatten themselves up on a rich fish diet.
You going to mug me?
Am I going to mug you?
Is that gorgeous or what, eh?
And I believe I can run a decent marathon.
Thank you very much.
Download Veely now.
Only since a few years we know how important the salmon are, not just for the river systems, but also for the plants and the woods.
Well, this chum is just about starting a second life here.
And therefore it's important to have those transporter animals, the bears and the wolves, which carry the fish and spread them out in the woods and are basically the gardener of those huge trees here. I bet you this tree was already a very impressive creature before the first white man landed on the coast.
Gudrun intends to search pockets of rainforest on Canada's west coast, north of Vancouver, far from roads. Her best way to reach the remotest regions is by boat. Then she can enter the fjords and follow the salmon rivers inland on foot. Gudrun needs the right craft and a good skipper.
My friend Jean-Marc is an expert sailor and knows this coast like the back of his hand. And there is not a single channel which is too small for his boat. No limits for Jean-Marc.
She'll keep a video diary.
The sailboat is, for me, just a maze of ropes and knots. Not for this guy. He knows what he's doing. Totally on a film.
It's all documented.
Gudrun's experience tells her the best way to find wolves is to travel a straight line, east to west. The nearer the yacht comes to the open Pacific Ocean, the more they may be at the mercy of autumn gales.
East to west transect, I would suggest starting right here. We got 4 weeks. We should spend like about a week and a half in the inside here, and then head up the outside of Banks. Lots of wolf action on Campania.
I can remember pretty well that I get seasick. So that's for me the big question. Well, can it be really rough at this time of the year out there on the outer coast?
It's a really good spot for seasickness right here. There's lots of little anchorages to get into.
Are you ready for long days?
The jagged coast of British Columbia stretches more than 25,000 kilometers. The wolves could be anywhere. At last the challenge begins. Gudrun has 4 weeks to find her wolves. Gudrun has spent months on wolf research, gathering scat, wolf droppings. The samples she collects, including the DNA they contain, can tell scientists about the wolves' prey and the prey's own diet. What she brings back allows other scientists to make discoveries. they found that only on the coast do wolves catch and eat fish. The fast-moving packs range over hundreds of square kilometers. Experience has given Gudrun an almost uncanny awareness of their presence.
Over the course of the years, being in wild places, I developed a certain fine-tuning of my senses. But I think there's also a certain spirituality which helps me to sense if wolves are present or in the area. People often ask me if I'm armed with weapons. My only weapon is insect repellent spray, because the most ferocious wildlife out there is for sure the mosquitoes, and they all together have a bigger mouth than the biggest bear. In general, I do have two strategies here how to find and search for wolves. You search either quick in a big area or very detailed in a smaller area, and often you have to make compromises.
The ground is covered in moss, which shows tracks well. For now, the former cross-country runner chooses to quickly range over a wide area. Gudrun's first pass reveals nothing. So the next day, day 4, she searches a new estuary. Up to 5 meters of rain a year can fall here. But this year, the rains are late. The rivers are too low for the salmon to enter. When they do, their predators, bears and wolves, will emerge from the forests. Gudrun will have to take extra care.
I'm often by myself in the bush, but I'm absolutely convinced that slipping from a rock is much more likely than being attacked by a bear. So far, actually, I've never been scared by wolves. And being by myself in the bush, it shows me my own limitations, and it teaches me to be happy with my own company. Well, I'm really happy that I see fish in this estuary, because that's a good sign that maybe wolves are around. First grizzly bear signs I see on the coast. You see how big this grizzly bear is. That's its front paw and its hind pad. 5 toes, so it's very easy to distinguish from a wolf. So it's bushy. It's very remote here. I better now really be careful.
The only anti-bear protection Gudrun carries is a can of pepper spray.
Well, this is deep grizzly bear country here, and I'm even walking on a grizzly bear trail. So I'll definitely be a little bit more cautious than usual. And I don't want to surprise any bear here. It's thick vegetation and a loud, noisy river. So let them know that I'm here too. Hey, bear!
They are incredible, powerful animals. I do have wonderful experiences with bears. I also have some more concerning experiences there.
Once I got followed by a big black bear for several minutes, and I can tell you,
it is a very uncomfortable feeling. Very uncomfortable.
Hey,
I feel very thankful and very privileged to share a piece of land with those powerful creatures, because they make me being so much more aware what's going on around me. Because chances are really good that if there's a bear and if it sees me, it is so much more scared about me. And I guess we both try to avoid each other.
Sleeping alone in the middle of nowhere doesn't worry Gudrun at all.
Night is a great time to sit back and just listen to the woods talk. If there's any wolves around, they should call out now, because this is the time that they might start gathering for a hunt, and they might call each other.
Day 8. Gudrun heads for a riverbank to look for fresh clues.
Well, that would be a perfect spot for finding wolf tracks here. And sandbanks are like a newspaper in the forest. If something happened here, you'd find tracks. Nothing here, so probably no wolves around.
No signs at all. Gudrun can be certain no wolves have been here for quite some time. She'll have to try an old trick.
Well, it's pretty quiet today. No tracks, no scats, not even really wolf trails I found, so I do have one more resort, which I will tap into now.
A wolf howl can travel 8 kilometers. Today, there's no response. During the Ice Age, glaciers covered much of Canada. The high rocky slopes are still bare and inhospitable. Only a clear stretch along the coast allowed animals and native people to survive. The forests along the narrow valleys are ultra important to wildlife, sheltering as many as 35,000 black bears and up to 2,000 wolves. Back on board, Gudrun reviews recent research footage of the wolves.
The coast wolves are so special animals. We now think that long ago, when the glaciers covered Canada, the wolves along this coast were cut off from the rest of the continent. So the animals here became isolated, and that's why we think these wolves have such an amazing genetic variability. Living along the coast meant these wolves had a wide range of foods to choose from. So they not only catch deer, but they learned how to make use of the rich resources the sea offers them. They gnaw on barnacles and mussels, and they even started to catch fish. Living along the coast meant for these wolves also protection, because the natives there, they hardly hunted the wolves. The wolf was sacred for them.
To help Gudrun plan her next trip ashore, Jean-Marc calls up an expert on local rivers. Knowing where the salmon are could pinpoint likely wolf locations.
Thanks very much for the help, Doug. Yeah, we'll talk to you a little bit later. Ciao. The water temperatures are a little bit warm right now, so the fish are holding in deeper water and just waiting for the rains. Rainfall is what triggers salmon to go up the rivers here, and that's basically the dinner bell ringing for everybody. As far as wolves go, I think we should just keep on what we've been doing, and things are going to change right now. We have rain, got a low pressure hitting, so it's just a matter of another day or two.
There are 1,000 islands and inlets to choose from. They are already midway through the expedition. Where to search? It's day 14. Still no clues.
I know, I feel a little bit... I'm sad, I'm disappointed, but I feel impatient suddenly. I really would like to find wolves very soon.
Gudrun's luck is about to change.
Headless salmon. That's great, because this is a sure sign of wolves. Because wolves, unlike bears, eat only the head of the salmon. We don't really know yet why. It's maybe the rich fat acids in the brain, or it's just abundance, or perhaps it's parasites which wolves try to avoid in the rest of the fish body. Just by looking at the color of the gills, it tells me that the wolves must have been here last night.
There's no time to lose. The wolves may return. Gudrun has another weapon in her armory. A remote camera.
Well, this river is pretty teeming with salmon right now. Now there are lots of dead salmon, and this is definitely a hotspot for wolves fishing. Hi, buddies. It would be really great to get a remote camera set up somewhere here and maybe get the odd shot of wolves in action. Hey, buddy. Having fun on your last leg.
Gudrun will position the camera wherever she finds signs of wolves. The remote camera is completely rainproof. She can leave it for days. It'll record any activity in front of it.
And activate it so that I see by myself and I pass through where I hope it will catch the target area, that it picks me up with this red light. So.
Gudrun checks the camera is working okay. It emits infrared, invisible to our eyes. If any living thing breaks the beam, even at night, the lens should capture its image.
I wonder what a wolf would think right now if he could see me. But now I guess I have to get out. Tide is coming.
Gudrun is leaving it a bit late.
This is crazy, like just the last 10-15 minutes while I set up the camera over there, the tide just came in and over borderline. So all this water ran inside my radars, and I do have my own little ocean, my own little flood. I'd probably go with plan B, call Jean-Marc, he should pick me up on this side of the river. Chills up, Jan, chills up.
Hey, being on the wrong side of the river is the story of my life.
Gudrun passes an anxious 3 days, waiting. With only a week left, What will the camera reveal?
That's the images we just
The camera has captured 24 images. Most of them are of Gudrun. Then, a wolf.
The best.
But it's just passing by. It's unlikely to come back to fish.
So here it is again. Yeah, glowing eyes. Let's take a next one. After seeing so many headless salmon on the river, I really thought I'd hit the jackpot. It's so disappointing. But I really don't think that it's worth waiting any longer.
Gudrun can't afford to invest any more time here. They head out away from the Canadian mainland, into new territory.
The coast around here is just so beautiful and so wild, exciting. One moment, nothing, then out of nowhere, we are suddenly surrounded by orcas. They are such extraordinary predators. It's no wonder that the First Nation people call them the wolves of the sea. I would like to think that they are here to help us in our search for the wolves, because also the orcas follow their salmon and the big herring schools.
Gudrun's journey west takes her to a remote village of the First Nations people, the Native Canadians. Three weeks of searching are taking their toll on the former athlete. But a fisherman's tale soon captures her interest.
In towards inlet there, just in the entrance, and they were howling one morning there, just incessantly for 40 minutes. Couldn't believe it. I never heard them howl that long.
Yeah, that is very long.
Yeah.
Howling is music to Gudrun's ears, a positive identification. And at the end of the day, she has another reason to be pleased.
I'm doubly excited today. Not only there is good news about wolves in the area, but I'm going to team up with my friend Marvin, and he has spent most of his life walking in the woods, so it's a privilege to follow him.
Marvin Robinson is an expert wildlife guide from the Gitgat First Nation and knows when to keep silent. The signs are there are bears close by in these woods. The salmon are running. The river is full.
Stay right there, wait a minute.
Marvin thinks it's worth waiting to see what will come. With luck, a wolf.
This is a real nice spot. There's lots of fresh carcasses here.
Incredible.
It's a real lively area here. Lots of fishing.
Beautiful log there.
A large adult black bear.
Yeah, just keep an eye on his ears. If those fall back and he looks at you, yeah, just act submissive like another bear. He's fine. You can look at him now.
Well, Marvin, if I see this big bear, it's hard for me to believe that I found wolf's cat with bear hair in it. There's a big fish with a big bear on its tail. It's already close to midnight and another long day comes to an end. Today it happened, a big black bear came out for the bush onto this creek full of salmon right in front of me and started fishing. And
Up to 5 meters it came, and it never ever lifted its head or hesitated or tried to check me out. Nothing. I was disappointed to completely not be present in his life. Absolutely focused on his fishing, a big black bear. There was not a single moment where I ever had any doubts that this bear would not be gentle and tolerating me. It was fantastic.
Gudrun's laid-back tactic paid off. With only 5 days left, she tries another approach.
Sometimes I simply love to follow the shoreline because you have good chances to see wildlife.
First up, sea lions. It's low tide. Gudrun knows this is the best time to see wolves on the shoreline. She is in for a surprise. A spirit bear. This is the only place in the world where she could observe a white or spirit bear. They are really black bears, both of whose parents have a recessive gene. Native teachings say the Creator made 1 in 10 bears here white, as a reminder of the snow and ice of the past.
It's the first time that I see a real white bear, and I can remember the First Nations stories are full of meanings when the white bear shows up, so I hope that it also gives me good luck for the time ahead.
There's another welcome sighting for Gudrun today. She is rendezvousing with 2 colleagues.
Ow! Hi there!
Paul Paquette and Chris Derrimont are world-renowned experts on wolves.
Really very flexible reports of river walkers, show markers, his friends everywhere, and they give us, head-ups.
Although Gudrun has not yet seen a wolf on this trip, the remote camera has had more success. Now it's her first chance to share the results with her colleagues.
Those cameras shoot 1 or 2 images a second, so you make this little goofy. It worked perfect in a radius. It's
and all this other information here, Chris.
Then you see temperature when it happened.
That's incredible.
Then I'm gonna make this little animation so it starts moving.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
good.
it's like it just runs it through.
Yeah.
Wow. They get shot before they get old, so this here we are on the coast with an older wolf.
And this
fantastic!
Right in front
That
of
is
the camera.
great. Caught on tape, eh?
Yeah.
No kidding.
He's showing off, eh? He's like, honey, let's
But Chris and Paul have some images to show Gudrun. Wolves have been seen swimming between land, 12 kilometers apart. They may cross open water in search of food. Amazingly, coast wolves may even live on islands as far out as 50 kilometers from the mainland.
So what was our original guidance here? I think it's quite crazy.
Armed with this new intelligence, Gudrun heads further west.
250, what's that?
There's more news. A report of wolves howling on an outer island, just 15 kilometers away. Only 3 days remain. There's no time to lose. It's low tide, perfect. The sand is exposed. Gudrun can easily find tracks.
Pretty fresh wolf track. It's maybe even from this morning.
and fishy droppings.
It's crazy. You wouldn't know that this is wolf's cat if it would feed on salmon. Very nice tracks, very nice. For sure, more than one.
Like a detective, Gudrun scours the land looking for further traces of her quarry. There's no point trying to hide. Rowdy Canada geese broadcast her arrival. Nonetheless, this is the most promising location so far.
I'm here on one of the most westerly located outer coast islands, and there are wolves here. So I'd love to get a glimpse of them right now. Beautiful estuary, fat beer wolf. I would hang out right here. Just following a nicely worn wolf path, and that tells me that it was not just a nice coincidence to hear a wolf yesterday right when we came in, but they spent some time here. Oh, and a deer bone. Can't be all too old. Nicely cracked by the powerful jaw of a wolf. Do that to get the marrow out. Really nice fatty treat for every wolf.
With so many positive signs, Gudrun decides to hide and wait.
Out here, waiting's never boring for me, because nature always has a certain kind of entertainment.
There is barely time to pick a few huckleberries when...
Oh, great. Yeah, that's the first two. Light, yeah, it's a female. Dark is a male, I guess, yeah. Yeah. Probably the alphas, they're ahead of the rest of the pack. There's several smaller looking, juvenile looking wolves. They look the same, it's probably all from the same litter from last year. And the two alphas, they really had their tail high up. They're very slim. Dark wolves are pretty rare on the coast, as is white wolves. So the typical coastal wolves looks like the juveniles of this pack. This typical reddish tinge. There's a pup, there's really a pup. Dark pup. They seem pretty happy. The very rare open meadows that they can run without running into a tree.
Suddenly, the alpha pair discovers a scent trail that excites them on the far side of the meadow. Out of the forest appears a young female, probably from a previous litter.
Being a witness to that all is pretty an emotional roller coaster for me. Here I see the parents playing really gentle with their offspring, and a few minutes later they go really serious after the offspring of last year and push it out of the pack. A wolf pack just can't support so many wolves.
Unable to keep up on the chase, the lone black pup is left behind. Hours later, there is still no sign of his parents.
Well, it's about 10 o'clock in the evening, and I'm not in my bed tonight. Just camping out here in the open. I totally count on one major motivation wolves do have, and that's curiosity. They are incredible curious animals who investigate everything. So I hope curiosity wins over fear and will come and check me out. That's the pup. Sounds like it's desperate. Calling, looking for the rest of the pack. The situation here is pretty unfortunate for the puppy, but it's good for me to know that the pup is left behind because it's too young, and the parents for sure will come back and pick it up within the next 1 or 2 days. Just woke up a few minutes ago on my night here on the Wolf Meadow. It was raining really hard, so I'm lying here in a kind of wet, beady sack, sleeping bag, paddle, and I'm very chilly. Very chilly. And there was some lightning during the night. Actually, that really scared me. I'm really scared of thunderstorms. So during the night and high tide, I heard lots of fish coming up the river, and so close that I thought they're gonna swim through my sleeping bag. So that was the other thing, being a little bit worried that I built up my camp too close to the river.
With only 1 day of the expedition left, even rain cannot dampen Gudrun's enthusiasm to see the wolves again. She is sure their behavior can only mean they have not had previous contact with humans. Gudrun lies down, hoping not to scare the wolves away. So are wolves as savage and ferocious as in folktale and legend, red in tooth and claw?
crazy. Yeah, I'm lying in the middle of the wild, surrounded by a pack of wild wolves. Maybe never ever seen a human before. And I haven't experienced those wolves. Everything can happen. We don't have a history with each other. And then the alpha female was standing in front of me. There was no sign of aggression, not the slightest motion of aggression towards me. No hecklers up, no sound. All 6 wolves are absolutely silent. No growl. All I heard was a deep, pretty fast panting of the alpha female. She was obviously the one who was the real scared one. Makes me pretty humble.
Extraordinarily, the wolves stay on the meadow for hours, playing close to Gudrun.
More harmonic way to spend one's evening than sitting in the middle of a huge wild land in a very remote estuary and watching a 6-head pack of wild wolves playing. It's nice to be treated like a wolf by a wolf.
Even the alpha pair appears relaxed. Gudrun is no threat to them or their young. All too soon, it's time to leave. Tomorrow she is heading home. Yet it's almost as if the wolves do not want her to go.
That's for sure the most beautiful music of nature.
In all her years in the wild, Gudrun has never had such a close encounter. She feels very grateful. It's something she will think about again and again in weeks to come.
I've stumbled on my journey into this just amazing wolf pack, and they gave me the best 2 weeks overall in my life. They trusted me. I felt so fortunate, and I want to share it with everyone.
Gudrun's journey through the islands of British Columbia provides science with a new insight into wolves. The pack she met here seems to have little fear of her. Could it be because for thousands of years, the First Nations people who lived along this coast have treated wolves with respect? Weeks later, the pack's behavior took on an added significance for Gudrun.
My encounter with those wolves was already so emotional and so intimate in the moment when it happened. But 3 weeks later, it got a totally different and additional meaning to me. When I came home from the coast and I got diagnosed with a bad brain tumor. And I don't know how often I thought of this moment during my very, very hard times during treatments. The First Nations have a saying. They told me that a wolf would not show itself unless it is trying to tell you something. I think that those wolves tried to give me their strength for my new journey ahead. For this illness, you need big goals, and this will be my goal, to be out there again. I just know that we have to preserve those wild places because nature is one of the most powerful healers.